Hey, it's Dr. Fanistel. You ever have that problem where you're feeling totally chill, everything's going well, and then boom, out of nowhere, anxiety, panic. Sometimes it might even happen right as you're noticing, hey, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Boom, anxious. Or maybe you had a great day, relaxed, go to bed, you actually sleep okay, and then you wake up, anxiety. Where does that come from? Let's talk about where that comes from, because once you understand why that's happening, then we've got some tools to change what's happening. As Steve Jobs once famously said, if you define the problem correctly, you almost have the answer. And Western medicine has not defined this problem correctly, and it doesn't have the answer. Their answer is, I don't know, you have an anxiety disorder. That's the way it happens. It has some ups and downs. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. We don't really know why. That's not the answer. There is a reason this is happening. Let's define the problem. The problem here is that your brain wants you to be anxious. And let's go back to step one. And if you haven't watched some of my other videos about the root cause of anxiety, find those and watch those. But the root cause of anxiety is that you have a hypervigilant brain that is practicing some learned neural circuits. It's learned to be this way because it thinks that's healthy for you. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't we stay like this? There's been some stuff going on in the past and it was useful to be on edge. I think I'll stay like this. So I'm just going back to that root understanding of what anxiety is. It's not a mental disorder. It's not a chemical imbalance. It's not a genetic problem. This is your nervous system that has gotten used to doing things, and it's running outside of your conscious control. You don't have direct control over it when it's happened, but it wants you to feel like this. And when you start relaxing, for many, many people, the autonomic nervous system, this lower part of your brain that's running your body outside of your conscious awareness, is kind of going, what the hell is this? This is not safe. We're not safe when we relax too much. We've had times in the past where if we had not been a little on edge, we wouldn't have gotten ourselves out of danger. You're starting to chill out a little too much, Brad. No, let me show you. Let me give you a little panic and bring you back into my orbit where I think we should be. We need to be in fight or flight. Boom, it hits you with some cortisol and adrenaline. Just trying to suck you back into this hormonal milieu of cortisol and adrenaline that your brain thinks is actually good for you. You don't think it's good for you, your thinking brain, but your non-thinking brain that's running the body thinks this is a good way to be. And it's used to feeling this way. It doesn't really feel comfortable when it's not this way. What do? How do we learn to change it? Remember, anxiety is learned neural circuits in the brain, and we can't overpower it. This lower part of your brain has orders of magnitude more neural synapses than your thinking brain does. We're not going to cognitively think our way out of this. We're not going to psychoanalyze our way out of this, but I can teach this lower brain. I can use my intellect to teach this lower part of the brain. One of my favorite definitions of mind-body medicine is we're going to use the conscious mind to change some of the seemingly automatic processes that are going on in the body. So we've got this different conscious mind understanding, this intellectual understanding. Let's use a body-based exercise to start retraining this part of the brain. And we're not going to do it when we're panicking. Everybody wants to get out of panic right now. I've got some other things, and I could talk about that, how to get out of panic. But the real training happens when you're not in panic. When you're in panic mode, you kind of have to get out of it. And there's some ways to get out of it. But that's not the basis of mind-body medicine. It's not like, oh, try this breathing exercise or go do some push-ups or something to get rid of your anxiety. And that's all useful stuff. I'm going to talk about that in some other videos. But I'm talking about how can you train the brain so it doesn't even go here as often? And that's a different set of tools than just some breathing exercises. What we want to do is train the brain when it can learn, and that means we're going to train it when you're not in panic. So what you want to do is turn to your body when you're not freaking out. That could be all day long. On a day where there's nothing really happening, I've got my suggestions about turning to the body throughout the day, and I've got some other videos about that. But what can really help when you're feeling actually good and relaxed is turn towards that and pay close attention. Isn't this feeling good? The tendency of most of my patients who are having a chronic pain or a chronic anxiety problem is if they're having any good times, then they're going to ignore their body so they can get some shit done. Now that makes sense, but you just lost an opportunity to do some brain retraining because now the brain's in a state where it can learn. Turn when you're feeling good. Notice that, and then nurture and kindle those neurons of relaxation, of joy, of feeling good. What does feeling good even mean to you? What does that feel like in your body? When you are feeling relaxed, can you turn towards the body? Instead of saying, oh, feeling relaxed, I'm going to get something done. You can do that in a minute, but take a moment and do a little brain training. Find the feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling really relaxed. What does the chest feel like? Feels kind of open. What do my muscles feel like? They feel less tense. How does my stomach feel? It's calm. How's my breathing? Calm and regular. And sit with those sensations. Maybe even noticing them carefully. Wow, what can I feel in my stomach right now? It's certainly not that churny thing that it often is. Today's a good day. What can I notice in my abdomen? And doesn't that feel good? Now we are in the language of the autonomic nervous system. We're looking at body sensations, and we're looking at them. Not only are we not looking at them with fear, we're looking at them with sort of a joy. We're looking at them with a deep gratitude and a deep sense of satisfaction. This feels good. Now the brain is learning, oh, when I get like this is a good thing. This is the parent brain stepping down while I'm feeling good and showing me how good this feels. Instead of the parent brain going, oh, well, you're not freaking out today, so I'm going to ignore you and go over here. You know, if I want to retrain a dog that I've adopted from the pound, yes, I want to maybe reprimand him or do something when he does something bad. But the key, any dog trainer will tell you, is pay attention to the good stuff and reward that. When the dog's not misbehaving, pay attention. Hey, great dog, here's a treat. When your brain is not misbehaving, turn towards it. Pay attention to that. Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, let me just bask in the feel-good of this and show you how good this feels. Judd Brewer's a psychiatrist at Brown who talks about reward-based learning, says everything that goes on in your brain, it's a learned behavior, and your brain learns by getting rewards. And the brain has learned over the years that the reward for being too relaxed is chaos happens. You weren't in enough fight or flight to notice something quick enough. Your brain has learned, no, getting too relaxed isn't good. That's what it's learned. We want to teach it something different. Teach it that relaxation is good. You have to notice the relaxation. Just like you're working with a dog, you have to notice when the dog is acting fine and give it a treat. Notice when your brain is good and turn towards it and sit with it. Go towards it when it's feeling good and nurture and kindle these neurons of joy and appreciation that have probably not been running in your brain as often as they should. Neurons that fire together, wire together. When you are feeling good, take a moment. There's an opportunity to kindle those neurons. They're firing already. Let's deepen that sense by really paying attention to the sensation of relaxation in the shoulders. Or what does it feel like to do slow, relaxed breathing? I'm not doing it now to get out of a panic attack. I'm enjoying the sensation of it, even though I don't need to enjoy the sensation of it. But when I retrain the brain, I better go there when something good is happening. So I hope that makes sense, but what we've got here is with this different understanding, we now have the tool, and the tool we're going to use when we're not in panic attack. And we're patient with these exercises in mind-body medicine. We understand the brain doesn't learn in an aha moment. It's not intellectual. This part of your brain learns by doing. It learns by experience and repetition. Dogs are smart, but they don't learn in one time. If you're trying to train them out of a bad habit, you can't just reward them once. You do it over and over and over again. And then they start realizing, okay, this is the way I should act. Your brain needs this messaging over and over and over again. When you're feeling good, remember to turn towards yourself. Turn towards your body. Be with your autonomic nervous system. Help it relish the feel-good of relaxation. I talked today about the Western medical establishment. It doesn't understand this problem. They so don't understand this problem that the people at TED decided to put my TED Talk up unlisted. That means it doesn't show up on an algorithm. You can't search my name, TED, and find it. There's a link to it in the description below this video. But that's just evidence of how behind the times the traditional system is. So we got a little ways to go, but the paradigm is shifting, and you're part of that paradigm shift if you're watching this channel. So hit subscribe, it helps this channel grow. Send this to people if it makes sense to you, because this is the new neuroscience. This is a new approach to anxiety, a new approach to depression, a new approach to chronic medical problems. There's nothing that works 100% of the time. I'm not out there saying, oh, Western medicine's terrible. I love Western medicine. I practiced it for 30 years. It saves tons of lives, but it just doesn't get anxiety, depression, and chronic pain. So I'm super glad you're here watching this, and I hope you continue to watch. Hope this is helpful to some people. I'm Dr. Brad Fanistil at BoulderMindBodyMedicine.com. See you next time.